Here we are. Just finished our, traditional all-season workouts, winter conditioning, weights, and things of that nature. And last coach's run was today, and now we're moving forward and getting excited about next week. Next Tuesday, starting our first practice of spring. That's always a good time because you start creating your team for next year. We certainly have been lifting weights and doing our conditioning thus far, and that's one way to build your team. But now, new positions, new faces, new captains, new leaders, all those things start to arise and come to the forefront here in the next 15 practices. So, we got a lot of, high anticipation to see our team back on the field. It seems like we just came off the field yesterday. Christmas wasn't long ago, and everyone remembers Christmas Day around here. So, we got a lot of momentum, I think, but our team's going to be different, not totally different like a lot of others. I think we have 9 super seniors that are returning on this roster for next year, and that's an exciting thing for them and for us. It's something that we dealt with last year with our super seniors coming back. It's another year of having that extra year of eligibility. Of course, everyone, I believe, heard the news of Aubrey Payne. He's going to be our first ever Georgia State 7th year Pawpaw senior that we'll call him. And he's excited about getting back on the field as well. And finishing up a great career here after a great bowl game. He's a tremendous player. I'm very fortunate to have him back for that tight end position.
Appreciate it, Coach. At this time, we'll take questions from members of the media. Go ahead with questions for Coach.
Coach, what are the main handful of things you're going to try to get done over the spring workouts?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, we're still very experienced in a lot of areas in the back end, the secondary. We're gonna actually, some of these guys that have been around here for a long time, we're gonna try to move them out and not get them as much reps during the spring, and try to push our young guys to the forefront. I think the inside linebacker position is a place that we've got to really draw some depth and create some guys, have some opportunities for some guys to step to the forefront and push the guys that are leading the charge at that position. Our offensive line is primarily intact. We have to replace one starter that we lost, but we have, that position right there is something that we have to create depth in. We have an abundance of numbers. We have, I think, 17, 18 offensive line. We have a transfer that's coming in from Eastern Illinois that's already here, but there's a lot of good players vying to push these guys to be better, and then also to push them to overtake their positions. So that's something to watch. I think developing our quarterbacks is something we have to continue to do. Of course, Darren, I believe ended up starting the last 8-9 games of the season a year ago, progressed and came on and did nice things for us. He certainly has to get better. And then we have to develop the backups even more so. McKaylee, and then we have Keelan Browns that's transferring in from Memphis. So those are positions that we have to keep creating and keep building upon. One of the things that's very unique for us this year is now I'm going to have to go out and not develop an offensive coordinator, but I've got to put him in positions to get him comfortable. Coach Josh Stepp, that I just named to the offensive coordinator position, put him in scenarios to get him in some situations that I don't want to be the second or third game in some situations arise that he hasn't been in. So it's my job to positional, put our offensive, defensive play callers in situations where they have to stress a little bit. So we're going to develop that through the spring and try to get better there as well.
You mentioned Josh. Is philosophy going to stay the same for the offense? Is it going to change a little bit with him as the OC?
No, it's going to stay the same. We're going to do what we do best. I'm not hard-headed enough to think that we're not going to throw the ball more. We're not going to run the ball more. It's whatever we're best at. If I feel like we have dynamic running backs and a strength in the offensive line, then certainly we're going to take advantage of that. There's an area that we certainly need to improve on. That's pushing the ball downfield, getting Darren comfortable, getting all of our quarterbacks comfortable and pushing the ball downfield, because we have some talented receivers that are able to make plays. So we're going to work on all facets of it. But our philosophy, for the most part, unless somebody knocks me over the head here in the next couple of days, is going to stay very, very consistent from what we've done since I've gotten here.
I don't know who else is on here. I'll keep asking questions
I don't
until I know you got to find a kicker. What's that competition going to look like?
Well, Noel worked out so well for us the last couple of years that I'm actually diving into the portal a little bit, trying to identify some 1-year guys, some graduate guys that potentially could come in here and take over the actual kicking or place kicking duties. I was just in contact with an individual today, and we've discussed a lot of things. The one thing that I really like about anytime a transfer or you recruit a transfer, I love seeing what they've done already on the college level. And the ones that we are actually in talks with have high success rates. They've done it. They've done it in crucial situations. They've proven themselves, whether it's not in this league, but other leagues, whether it's FCS or FBS. So we're going to try to identify someone to come in there. During spring practice, we're going to have Michael Hayes, who will probably be handling all 3 of those kicking scenarios starting out: our kickoffs, our place kicking, and then also our punting. We feel very solid about him. He handled the kickoff duties, I think, midway through the season. He handled our punting, of course. And we actually signed him to be a place kicker, and he just turned out to be a pretty good punter. So we're working on that situation.
Well, it seems like Quan has been there forever, and that's a huge hole for you to have to fill. Are there already candidates in place, or is that one of the big competition areas that you were talking about?
Well, it's really one spot. And, just like everybody says, no spots up front are locked in. But when you have guys that have played 3, 4, and 5 years on that offensive line, it's kind of hard to replace them or overcome them. So that one spot at left guard is the hot commodity. It's like everybody, hey, coach, can I play left guard? I want to play left guard. Sign me up. I'm playing left guard. Doesn't matter what position they play. If they're backing up somewhere else, they're all pushing. Avery Reese was really our next guy in line a year ago from the interior position, from the center guard. And I believe he started against the Appalachian State Mountaineers and banged his ankle up on the second play of the game, and really didn't get to play the rest of the year. He is bigger, stronger. He looks like an ox, and he's going to be one of those guys that vies for that left guard position. Jonathan Brown is a younger guy that we're going to push in there, big, strong, athletic, that you just haven't seen any film on, because there's been such a consistent starting basis along that front. And there's others. I mean, there's freshman offensive linemen that are going to push a lot of these guys. Marquez Bargman is a guy that can go in there and play. Montavious Cunningham is a guy that's going to find his way in some of those positions. And then also we did bring in that transfer, and we signed the transfer, Bryson Broadway, just from right up the road in Dawsonville, Georgia, from Eastern Illinois. So, it's an interesting combination to work with. It's a great numbers. I've been coaching a long time, and I don't think I've had as many numbers along the offensive line that we have here in the history of my career. Even at South Carolina, back at Appalachian State, I think we'd go through spring with like 6 offensive linemen. And same was being said at South Carolina. It was just a hard position to fulfill and keep consistency along it. But we've done it here, and we're going to continue to do it. But what a thrilling time it is to be. If you look at us offensively, the headliners coming back, of course, is Darren, and then you have Jam, and then you have Tucker Gregg. And if you watch our backs run in the off season, probably one of the more exciting players that I've seen thus far is Marcus Carroll. Strength, speed. He's a man on a mission. It's hard to label these guys 1, 2, and 3. It's kind of like, hey, you can start. But he's going to get a lot of looks this spring. I think Jam and Tucker we've consistently seen what they can do, and it's time to see some of these younger guys get some work. Guy on the defensive side, Jeff Clark. Jeff Clark's probably been a little bit of an up and down type of guy since he's come in here. And I think 2 years ago, he had a pretty good season. Last year, he kind of fell off for whatever reason. You know, it just happened. Called him in. I told him, I said, I'm a Jeff Clark fan. I expect more out of you. You're wasting a lot of people's time around here if you don't give us everything you got. And this offseason, he is strong, he is fast, he is quick, and he's a guy I can't wait to watch because, like I said, I'm a big fan of him. I think he's one of the better players on our football team when his mind's right and he's ready to go. And I think we've got his mind right and he's ready to go.
Well, you mentioned Aubrey. Now he's on the ARP scholarship. What does it mean to have him back? And who are a couple of other guys that may be coming up who's going to play some with him and with the hole that Roger left?
Yeah, you know, to have Aubrey back is, I'll tell you one thing, it's relief. I mean, because that position is one of the kind of the question marks. You know, he didn't have a returning starter coming back, a couple minimal playing snaps for a guy like Chris Bird, Amon Green. So those are guys that could step in. But to have Aubrey come back, he's got great knowledge of the game. He's very well educated in our offense. He works hard. He's a good leader for us, and he can catch the football. More importantly, he can catch those touchdowns for whatever reason. That's what he catches a lot of. So he's going to help develop those younger guys and bring them along. We did sign a transfer tight end that's a big, strong, athletic type body that can play down inside or out on the perimeter, which all our tight ends can do. But this guy's a little bit different of an athlete than the guys we have, and his name's Rock Laney, and it's going to be interesting to see as we get out there and practice.
I think I know the answer to this question, but do you worry about these guys getting complacent coming off an 8-win season and doing the great things you guys did last year?
No, I mean, not at all. I don't. It was kind of funny. You know, it's kind of funny you asked that question because we just finished up what I call coaches runs out there. And, you know, it was kind of I let the super seniors kind of run the drills. And so we do what we call perfect sprints at the end, where everybody, you got to compete against yourself. You got to give everything you got. I called it up after 5, and I always do this every year before spring practice starts. I give them off the Friday before of weights and everything like that. And Jamil Muhammad says, you know, after I kind of broke it down and we're going to walk away, he said, y'all want to win the Sun Belt? Everybody's in that weight room tomorrow morning. And I wanted to give him a break, get him off. And he's like, be in that weight room tomorrow. So it's interesting to see that because player-led teams win. And it's awesome to see when players lead your team. Makes it easy for me.
Well, I mean, in the 5, this is the 6th year going. How have you seen the culture grow to that point where guys are willing to do that now?
They're putting a lot of you can see them put a lot of themselves in this program. You know, I don't have to ask a whole lot of them. Our coaches don't have to ask a whole lot of them, whether it's meeting time or on the jugs machine at the wide receiver DB position, or just out there on their own. They're investing their own time. They're not investing our team time. And when you invest your own time on an individual basis, like they've been doing, you know, you've created the culture, and that's the culture of wanting to win, needing to win, and knowing how to win. And it's becoming more evident every single day from not just 1 or 2 players. It's 10 to 15 to 20. We had an early team meeting today, and before we were even team meeting, these guys were on the jugs machines outside my office catching balls. I mean, I can hear it, and I didn't know what was going on. I look outside, and wide receivers out there, doom, 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 you know, and they're just getting the catches in. So that's great to see. Like I said, it's easy for us to coach when you have players leading themselves and leading others.
And is that kind of what you refer to when you're talking about the sense of climb? getting
Yeah.
to that next level.
Yeah. Once you take ownership of something, it's hard. It's just like when you buy that first car, man, you want that car clean. You're taking your floor mats out, you're doing all that, you own it. You know, it's yours. It's yours. And I think everyone on this football team knows that this program is theirs.